What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me. Now, I gotta tell y'all straight up, I know there's been a lot of talk about Zion Williamson being traded, the off the court stuff going on, and just him missing games and not being healthy and being a bit out of shape. So a lot of storylines have been getting thrown around, and it just took a major turn. The situation with him and the Pelicans just may have reached the breaking point with what happened earlier today. And we're going to get into that. But first, I just got an update talking about Bradley Beal, another player who's a star in the league, 20, 30-point per game scorer, who's been in trade talks for, it feels like, the last 5 years with the Washington Wizards and how bad they've been. Well, he was officially granted permission to speak to other teams today, teams that he's interested in. So, the Milwaukee Bucks, and he's talked about the Miami Heat being a preferred destination as well. Both those teams are expected to reach out and meet with him and his agent to talk business, man. And you just look at the situation in Miami. I don't know if they would be able to keep Tyler Herro. I think that would be a reach. Honestly, it's not even like a reach. It's like there's no way they will be able to keep him in this trade. So they would have to pull the trigger on that, and that's something that they've been reluctant to do. But if you add Bradley Beal, he averaged 23 points a game last year. The year before that, he was averaging a 30 ball. So you add that type of production to a team that was just in the finals, and the only thing they were really lacking was another creator, another guard, another ball handler that could really just create his own shot, get his own shot, and make shots to take pressure off Jimmy Butler. And this also gives Bam the opportunity to be the 2 and the 3 option. Some nights he'll be the 3rd option, and that's okay because Bradley Beal will be there to pick up the slack if that's, it seems like they should be in win-now mode. Like, absolutely, after we just saw, they overachieved for sure. They've got a lot of, I don't want to say they don't have a lot of talent, but they got a lot of tough guys on that group that will not back down from anybody. They're scrappy, and Bradley Beal adds that much-needed scoring punch and star power this group is lacking right now. Just a reliable scorer, like I said, that can take pressure off of Jimmy Butler. And that's the main thing, because, you could tell, bro, Jimmy Butler was exhausted in those playoffs towards the end. Even that last game, that last 3 that he chucked up to try to bring them back in that last game, man, that had "I'm ready to go home" written all over it. So, man, it'll be interesting. If he goes to Milwaukee, jeez, come on. That is ridiculous, bro. Him in Milwaukee would be crazy with Giannis. I like Chris Middleton, though, and they've already shown that they have the wherewithal and the roster to build a championship or to win a championship. You got Drew Holiday, you got Kenny Middleton, I don't know, or Chris Middleton. I don't know if you want to mess with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you want to mess with that chemistry, but if you can get a star like Beal, who's only 30 years old, he's still got a lot of tread on the tires. If you compare a player of that caliber, another all-star, with Giannis, that could be major for them as they look to bounce back as well, because, the Celtics don't seem like they going anywhere. But the Brad Beal situation, I think personally, is very interesting. So I'm excited to see where he ends up, and it's just the beginning. But I think this is the realest it's gotten so far. At this point where he's being given permission to meet with other teams, and he has a no-trade clause, so he's going to be able to get to where he wants to. He's going to be able to veto or accept any trade that he wants. He just signed a 5-year supermax last season, $251 million last July. So he's still got some years on that contract as well, where you don't have to worry about re-signing him for at least the next, 4 years. So it'll be interesting, man. But he has a lot of control in his own destiny, and I think it's safe. But he's listed his teams. The Wizards have come out and said they're going to work to try to get Beal somewhere he wants to go. So we'll see. Keep an eye out on that, but it's excitement. But the main topic, I know, I just had to get into that, but the main topic, Zion Williamson and what's going on with that, man, let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
And one team that has emerged that really would like to move up from their spot at 14 of the New Orleans Pelicans, potentially hunting a star player caliber, maybe like a guy like Scoot Henderson. The Pelicans have had some cursory discussions from what I've been told. There haven't been any offers made necessarily yet, but it makes you really not take too far of a leap to wonder if and the league is certainly wondering if the Pelicans are going to make for the first time truly Zion Williamson available ahead of next week's draft. To get up to that level in the top 5, you'd have to consider a player of this caliber. He's obviously had injury history, a little bit of off-season drama recently. So I don't know if anything's going to truly develop there, but I think it's fair to say, based on my conversations, there's an eye being kept towards whether the Pelicans would make Zion Williamson available ahead of trying to get into that top end of the draft.
You talked about putting a structure around him that would make it work. Big Perk, what is that? What do they need to do to unlock? What can anyone do to unlock Zion, in your opinion?
Well, one, they're going to have somebody police him and make sure that he's not stacking his refrigerator up, or what I call the ice box up with sodas. Secondly, he's going to have to want it. Zion has to learn how to be a true professional. And I think that this marriage needs to end. If I'm the New Orleans Pelicans, I'm not thinking twice about this. I would trade Zion Williamson. And once he get traded, you have a sense of embarrassment when you get traded as a player. And I think that would do wonders for him. I actually talked about this with Jay Will yesterday on First Take. I would love to see Zion Williamson in Portland with Damian Lillard. They have the number 3 pick. They have young assets that they actually could train for him and trade for him. And then all of a sudden, you go up under Chauncey Billups, and now you have something to prove to the world. You was the former number 1 pick. You was the most hyped player since LeBron James, and they traded you out of New Orleans. Now, that is a wake-up call for Zion.
So Zion has been in the public eye. Obviously, we know that because of, one, just missing games, not being available. He's played 114 games in 4 seasons, right? To be fair, though, I don't think that's a reason to give up on him, because that's more games than Joel Embiid played in his first 4 years. And we're talking about the reigning MVP. Zion Williamson is a generational type talent. He's a true game changer. He's a one of one. That's not something that you see in the draft every year at all. Like, freakish athlete. And he's always been that. Like, Zion's a brand. We're talking about a player that came in with one of the biggest followings ever. He's the most hyped up prospect since LeBron James. He's a brand. You're talking about a guy, explosive, can shoot it a little bit, has continued to expand the range. You got to respect the jump shot. He's using the athleticism on defense. He's getting up and down the court. He's more athletic. He's faster than most bigs. He's going around them. He's going through them. I mean, he led the league in 2-point field goal percentage just 2 years ago. He's proven that he can be a potential 20-10 guy. I mean, we've seen it the last 2 years. When Zion is on the court, he is dominant. We're talking about averages of 25 points a game, 7 boards, and almost 4 assists, playing 32 minutes a game. Unreal numbers. Like, for a guy, like, that's not common. Like, seriously, the playmaking ability, you can run the team through this guy. Like, that's not common. But you see the talent level. I mean, look at the Western Conference. Before Zion got hurt, the Pelicans were the number 1 team in the West, and they would have absolutely gave the NBA champion Denver Nuggets a run, for sure. I think that they have the makeup right now to be an NBA championship team. Like, the talent is there with B.I. C.J. McCollum was a great addition. Trey Murphy, the rise of him has been exceptional for this squad. His shooting ability and just his size to be able to guard multiple positions. And, he's getting to the cup too, man. Like, he's been his development has been a great addition to this group. They battled through a lot of injuries, and some of the younger guys had to step up. But I know a lot of people have been talking about pulling the plug on Zion. I've seen some simulation trades where, we've heard the buzz, like, the Pelicans are super interested in trying to get Scoot Henderson, trying to move up in the draft. I've seen reports saying they're not going to trade Zion, he's not available, and others saying he is. So I don't know if anybody's genuinely sure.
To my knowledge, the Pelicans haven't called the Charlotte Hornets and said, hey, do you want to do Zion Williamson for the number 2 pick? But what I think has been relayed to number 2, which the Pelicans, and I reported this earlier this week, they want Scoot Henderson. They want to move up in this draft. They have the number 14th pick. There's a player named Scoot Henderson. He played for the last 2 years for the G League Ignite. He did not go to college. He left in high school to go play professionally for the NBA's G League elite team. And he's going to be a potential franchise guard, a guy that we're going to be talking about for years to come. This guy is athletic. His body is built like he could have played last year in the NBA. This guy can jump. He's got good vision. Shooting, definitely something that he's continuing to work on. But there's a lot of belief around the league and around the Pelicans that this guy can be a franchise point guard, that he has the makeup, he can tone set for us. He's a culture builder. So they want to go get him. So just realistically, when you look at it, the only way you're going to go get a guy like that is if you're going to have to give up someone like Zion Williamson. So I'm just saying, if you're trying to go get him, you have to give something up that makes sense. But what I have heard is I don't know if the Hornets would want Zion Williamson. I think who the Hornets want, from what I'm told, is Brandon Ingram. And so the Pelicans, the draft is less than a week away. Yeah. The draft is less than a week away. And we'll see if the Pelicans get to the point as an organization where do we move either Brandon Ingram or Zion Williamson. I think that is the big question going into next week.
The trades that I've been seeing have been the Hornets getting Zion as well as Trey Murphy and the 14th pick from the Pelicans getting that second pick, Terry Rozier, and future picks down the line as well, first-round picks. So for the Hornets, that would be amazing. Can you imagine on the fast break LaMelo throwing alleys to Zion? Come on, oh man, that would really make up for not getting that first pick to draft Victor Wembanyama. That would be exceptional. They would play so much faster. And you get a guy like that, you get Miles Bridges back, PJ Washington, and these guys, man, they would be the modern day Lob City, man. Do y'all remember the Hornets 2 years ago at full strength? They were the most exciting team to watch in the league. Seriously, they were a show. Getting Miles Bridges back and adding Zion to that core group, getting Gordon Hayward the hell out of there. Get his money off the books. Nick Batum 2.0, man. He robbing them. But to get Zion, a generational player who was born in the state, has that huge following in South Carolina as well, playing ball there in his youth. They would pack. The tickets would go up crazy. The Spectrum Center would be packed every night. Zion's bringing that type of attention, and it would help Melo's development continue. He's developing at the right pace, but it would help him as well. Having that option and having a 25 a game, man, that would be good. And they could still do something with that 14th pick as well to add more depth in the backcourt. So that would be interesting, man. Honestly, I would like that move, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Guys. I just don't see the Pelicans trading Zion. It's too early to give up on him. I think you got to get a nutritionist around him 24/7. Make sure he's eating right. Make sure he's taking care of his body. We saw the best of Zion for a little bit in the NBA, and then at Duke, Coach K had that, man, buzzing. We saw when the standards are set, when expectations are set, and there's structure around, we seen what happens. Because Zion got loose, and boy, he knocking them down. He going crazy off the court. We know that. He hasn't done anything illegal. He hasn't done anything too, super terrible. Come on. He's a young athlete with millions of dollars in New Orleans. Come on. Like, let's be honest here. What would you do? Anyways, so I don't think they move him. I think that they realize that they have the team they need in place to win a championship. Zion just has to stay healthy. Get the nutritionist around him. Keep him working out. Keep him in shape. Keep him away from the distractions. Don't have the entourage. Don't have the friends and the family hanging around practice that are causing distractions. Keep it closed off. Keep it tight. Keep it right, and get back to just focusing on basketball. I think that's going to be the move. And they still have the 14th pick to do whatever they want. They feel like they need more point guard help, which I don't. I mean, you got Jose Alvarado as the backup point guard in that group, who's a really good role player, one of the better backup point guards in the league. Maybe the second best, possibly behind Trey Jones. But anyways, sorry, it took me a minute there. Anyways, I just don't see the trade happening. I don't know. I think it's a reach. Would I love it? Yes. I don't see them trading Zion Williamson, though. It's just too early. Year 5, he'll have something to prove. Obviously, he's coming back. Hopefully, all this is getting him back focused, and he takes that attention and uses the fuel and just puts it into his game and getting healthy and just getting back to his best self. I do think, though, things took a major turning point when they fired Coach Teresa Witherspoon. She's somebody that Zion has confided in.
Last season, where I was leaving the arena, and she asked me, "Am I all right?" And usually I brush it off like, "Yeah, I'm straight. I'm just going home." But I just trust Teaspoon so much with like opening up. I was like, "Nah, I'm not. I am not okay." And her first response wasn't words. She cried for me. She literally just cried for me, and I remember just trying to take that moment and like, I have somebody special in my corner. She really does care about me, and the feeling is mutual. That's my big sister. She was there, and stayed connected with me through the off season. That's just my big sister. We have a special bond.
But can I go on the rant for a second?
Go.
Because I'm very, very, very disappointed in David Griffin and the New Orleans Pelicans. Yesterday, they parted ways with Teresa Witherspoon. David Griffin was actually wrong for that, and he knows why. He denied Teresa Witherspoon on multiple occasions to go and do other job interviews. Chauncey Billups, he wanted her in Portland. The Phoenix wanted her, and he denied her. He let her go through the whole draft workout this off season, and then all of a sudden you let her go. So now I sense a thing of jealousy and envy. You know why? Because do you know who Zion was the closest to in that organization? It was Teresa Witherspoon. So now all of a sudden, she didn't get let go because she was bad at her job. She got let go because Zion Williamson actually confided and consulted and trusted her more than he actually do the front office. And David Griffin is wrong for that.
She was a real one. She had connections and, with all the teams. And they're saying, Zion doesn't have a relationship with his teammates and, there's bad blood. But it's like, why does every time that happens where a player gets in a little trouble and then trade talks start, and now it's like, oh, they're a bad teammate. Like, bro, cut it out. Seriously. It's getting ridiculous, man. We sick of it. But anyways, so they fired Coach Witherspoon, and I think that, I'm not going to say that's the straw that breaks the camel's back by any means, but it's not helping the matter either. Like, at all, especially in the locker room and especially with the team chemistry. And it's a fragile time, especially for your star. Like, you're invested in Zion, so you want him to be as comfortable as he possibly can be. So I think letting her go is crazy. I've heard, like, Chauncey Billups wants her in Portland. Like, other organizations have been looking at her like she's a rising star in the game. So it's just crazy to me that she would be let go at this point in the year, man. It's just crazy. And then, like we said, she had that relationship with Zion where he could have somebody to talk to and confide in. So I don't know, man. It's not looking great right now in New Orleans. I'm gonna be honest, but I think winning cures all, and all this will blow over. I think what it comes down to for the Pelicans is, does Scoot Henderson make you a better team than healthy Zion Williamson? And is healthy Zion Williamson going to be an option? Are you banking on that? That's what it's going to come down to. Anyways, that's a wrap for us. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about the situation. Let me know where y'all think Zion's going to be playing ball next year. Or is he going to be playing at all? Who knows? Let me know how y'all feel. And make sure to hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest for that weekly content. I'm Brandon Blakeney, a.k.a. Brandon Lee TV. This has been Live with Brandon Blakeney. We out.